Welcome to another weekly market analysis. In this video, we're going to discuss the E-mini S&P 500 futures and also the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY, along with the E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures and also the NASDAQ 100 ETF, the QQQ. Now, I also have additional contents or a little bit more detailed analysis in my newsletter, the Pulse of the Market, and be sure to go and check that out at the substack.com, and I've placed a link in the description below. And that will give you a little bit broader perspective of what the market is telling us, because I also go to some of the market internals and also cover other market indexes, other major market indexes. So be sure to check that out after you finish watching this video. Now let's take a look at the ES and see what have transpired for the week. We see that at the beginning of the week, the price came down and took out this lower range of the weekly expected move. And then at the latter part of the week, it came down and took out the lower range of the monthly expected move. So that is pretty astonishing for this early of the month. And right now, although it did close above it, above this range here, so we still be watching, would it be able to hold above this monthly expected move, this lower range. And here's what the market is pricing in for the coming week for the upper ranges between 59.30 and 59.19.75. And the lower ranges between 56.23.75 and 55.80. So what we're watching for the coming week is, again, we're going to be looking at these two zones here. Remember we were talking about this two zone last week. If it get back above this 58.06, then we could see it come up to this 59.01. And if we could get back above the 59.01, then we could probably see the price making its way back up toward this all-time high here. Then we also say if it break the 58.06, then we'll be watching it come down to this zone here between 57.50 and 5700 area. And you see that on Friday, it did exactly that. It came down and actually went below this 5700 before it come back in and close above it. So what we be watching for the coming week, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a rebound and possibly come up and try to get to this 59.01 and then get rejected and come back down and possibly come down toward this 56 area, 5600, 5550, this zone here, and basically tagging the lower range of the weekly expected move, because we're still looking for a lower high and then a lower low. And we'd be looking at this particular zone here, because if you look at this zone, there has been previous support and also previous resistance here. So we basically want to see it come down and test this zone here to see if we'll be able to find support and then push it back up. If it doesn't, then we basically are looking for the possibility to come down to this area here at the 5100 and possibly come down to this 5000 area. So that is what we're going to be watching for the coming week. Now, would it come down here and make a low and then get a bounce and then push us down? Or would we get a bounce and then push us down to get this lower high and then continue to put in a lower low? Then maybe we could find support here and then start pushing back up. So we'll see. But first thing first is to see how it reacts on this price zone here for the coming week. Looking at the SPY, we also see a similar type of price action as the ES. It came down to the lower range at the beginning of the week, and then at the end of the week, it came down to the monthly lower range here. And although, again, just like the ES, it finished above the monthly lower range, but it did finish below the weekly expected range. And here, what the market is pricing in for the coming week is the upper range between 592 and 590.50. And the low range is between 561 and 556.50. Now, what we're going to be watching for is, again, similar to the ES, is to see would it be able to get above this, 575 area, 577 area here, this zone, and come back up to this 586 zone and possibly tag the upper range and put in the lower high and then get rejected and push back down to this 565 zone here to see would it be able to find support, because, again, look at these level here that basically has turned from resistance into support, although this level here did not come down. But today, on Friday, it came down to this zone here and got a nice bounce. So again, we're going to see would it be able to come back up and then come back and do a double test on that to see will this hold. If it doesn't, then we'll be looking for the price to move down to the lower range of the weekly expected move and possibly work its way down toward the 540 area. And this 540 area is also a pretty major in terms of support and resistance here. We see there are a lot of price action, surround this zone here. So keep an eye on this 540 here. If it breaks this zone here up at this 565 area. And here looking at the NQ, we see that the NQ took out the lower range of the expected move. And it came down on Friday and tagged the lower range of the monthly expected move. And it closed right at this zone here and also in the middle of the lower range of the weekly expected move. And here's what the market is pricing in for the coming week for the NQ. The upper range is between 20,916.75 and 20,851.50. And the low range is between 19,563 and 19,350. So for the coming week, we're going to be watching this zone here to see what it be able to break out of this zone, come up and tag this upper range, essentially come back up to this zone around the 21,000 area and see what it get rejected and pushes back down to test this zone at the 20,000 level and see what that be able to hold. And if it doesn't hold, then we expect it to come down and test this lower range of the expected move and possibly get down to this 19,000 area, this high volume no, and then chop around and then work itself down into this 18,750 area. Because down here we see there are some support and resistance level, here that been tested at this range here. Right? You can see that there are a lot of price action, getting bounced around here at this 18,750 area, or so that's what we're going to be watching for, and basically still looking for a lower high and then a lower low, and maybe possibly get down here and get a nice strong support and then push this back up. Now let's take a look at the QQQ, and here's what took place for the QQQ. You see that it also closed right inside of the weekly lower range here. It did dip into the low range of the the monthly expected move. You see that it did come back up and held this zone near the 490 area. And for the coming week, the market is pricing in the upper range between 509 and 507.70, and the lower range between 475.90 and 471. So for the coming week, we'll be watching for the price to see would it be able to push up here into this zone here, somewhere near this 510, at the upper range, and see would it get rejected and pushes back down to another test at this 490 zone, and it pushes down toward the low range, essentially come down to this 470 zone, and see would it be able to find support here, then bounces back up. So we're basically looking for lower high and then a lower low and a major support, down here at the 470. Now, if it doesn't hold this, then we expect it to come down into this, 430 area here. Now, to give more context on the market and a little bit more detailed analysis of the market from me, be sure to go and check out my newsletter or Substack, The Pulse of the Market. You will find more detailed description and analysis of various indexes and also the internals. So be sure to go and check that out. I will place a link in the description below. And if you find this video to be informative and useful, be sure to smash the thumbs up to give it a like to help me promote this video on YouTube. And if you are not a subscriber of my YouTube channel or my newsletter, be sure to subscribe to both of these two, and you'll be able to follow me and get the content. And for a modest $15 a month, you'll be able to get my daily trade plan for the ES, the NQ, the SPY, and the QQQ, along with some exclusive content for paid subscribers only. And also you'll be able to participate in our community chat where you could share and exchange ideas with other community members. So be sure to smash the thumbs up to give it a like. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your trading.